guys, welcome back. I got my Tango 2 just last week, and I know it's honeymoon stage, but I've tried all their transmitters before, and I always keep going back to my Taranis, and I think for the first time, I'm sticking with this. However, this is not my official review or my official initial impressions of the transmitter. We'll get to that in the next video, more likely, but here I want to talk about two mods that I did to the transmitter already. Yes, I know. I used to take a while to start modding stuff, but nowadays I know what I want, so I immediately mod. The first thing is I added these stick ends, which I got from Newbie Drone. I know other retailers sell it, but I got these from Newbie Drone. I forgot what they're called. I don't know if it's Lotus or... It's a shape that I know some FrSky transmitters have used before. I think they look like Darth Maul. They're super spiky. And they're nice because they're good for thumb or pinching, because they're very sharp around the sides and the top. They're definitely very grippy. So I pinch, and this is kind of like the way I hold it. So it's slightly hybrid because I do put my thumbs on top, at least on this side. And I like them a lot. They're a little bit big, so this is a pro version, and when you fold them in like that, they do touch and they're super sharp, so more than likely they'll scratch the shell. So I either will print a TPU sort of like shim to protect the shell, but more than likely I'll just take a piece of like EVA foam like we use for the battery pads right there, so that they have a place to rest and not scratch it all up. Yes, I do use a lanyard, and I haven't taken that off because I do want to get the tempered glass protector thing. And I know my buddy Kyle Kilowatt is going crazy right now at home seeing that I have that on there, but I'm not taking it off. I know some of you as well I think the same thing. But anyway, the real thing is there's a video here, find it there, and it's a mod that I've done on my two old Taranis radios, and it's I used to put silicone tubing, that the type that you use for fuel lines on buggies and RC nitro boats. And I in the little bar that gives the friction for the throttle, I used to put that there and use super lube to get, because I like a really stiff throttle. I don't like a floppy throttle, right? And that gives me the amount of friction that I need for the feel that I look for, right? However, I want it to be smooth. Somebody pointed out in that video that you can just tighten it. Yes, true, it'll make it tighter, but the problem is that it'll get roughed up because you're talking about metal on hard plastic, and even if you put lube, the more you tighten it, the more friction it'll have, and it'll get rough and not as nice. So I added the silicone, and that gives it quite a bit more of drag, but it's smooth, and it worked well. But somebody in that video also pointed out that I should use PTFE shrink tubing, which is essentially Teflon shrink tubing. Apparently this stuff is really hard to find. I found some on eBay, and the mosquitoes are killing me. I found some on eBay, but I had to wait for it to ship from China, and I just didn't want to wait. So I found the next best thing, which is Kevlar coated with PTFE. And that's the stuff that people use on the machines that are used for heat for sealing plastics, like for food processing and different things like that. So that stuff is Kevlar. I believe it looks like Kevlar. And then it's coated with PTFE, with Teflon, so it's smooth. It has a texture because of the Kevlar, and I thought it'd be a problem, but it turns out it isn't. So I used that to wrap around the bar, and I'll show you in a second how I did it. And I'm stoked. It actually, sorry, I keep swatting away mosquitoes. It actually works really well, and I'm definitely recommending it. I've done about 20-25 flights with it, and it hasn't changed. Like it's kept. Kevlar is super tough, and of course maybe the Teflon top will eventually wear away and you can replace it, but it's really easy. So yeah, check out the video now. Come on, check out the video now so you can see how I did it. And in fact, it feels better. It's easier to do than my previous mod. So I definitely going to recommend that. All right, let's open this guy up. I found that the little case that comes with it is good because it helps protect it. Not only that, actually these gimbal sticks are kind of long, so they do touch. Let's do this. Okay. Alrighty, let's open her up. This uses a 1.5, so it's an M3. I mean an M2 screw. That's what's in there. So let's open this guy up. I'm sure you guys have seen the inside of this guy plenty of times. Go ahead and take the battery out. I am actually, last time I opened this I didn't take the battery completely off. But I'm actually going to do that this time. Alright, so this is the bar right there for adjusting the tension. And that's what I'm going to work on. I don't remember again what the Taranis uses. I'm pretty sure it's just silly fitted screws. We got, these are tapping wood screws type, or plastic, but they are at least hex. They are also M2, so at least you got some consistency there. Okay, then this guy's gotta come off. Alright, so now we're gonna wash this to get the lube off, and then I'm gonna coat it with the PTFE tape. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to clean this as well as I can with alcohol after washing it, so that I get rid of any residue of lube, so my tape sticks very well. At least that's the plan. Okay. Alright, so I got this PTFE or Teflon tape on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. I actually wanted PTFE shrink tubing, but I couldn't find any of that. I'm sure I did, but it was in China. I didn't want to wait for it. I was looking on eBay, and my normal approach of using silicone won't work simply because there's no space. Like, this radius is so tight there that I can't really fit silicone tubing in there even if I wanted to. So let's go ahead and try this. Okay, easy there. Right, make sure I get the length right. Doesn't really have to be that long because this is not the moving part. It's the actual gimbal plastic part that moves. So this just needs to be slightly centered and just have enough room. Still too long. And I'm gonna try to wrap it over itself so that it doesn't come undone. Yeah, I think that's about right. Still too long, a little bit too long. Oh, my charger's done. Be back in a second. Alright, so let's get this on there. I want the seam to be on the opposite side, of course. So I might have to cut it, but just gonna note that this is the first time I do this with this sort of method, so I'm experimenting on camera. Okay. That's all right. Okay. So really what I'm doing is, because apart from having lubrication for this thing, I just want to give it a slicker surface that has less friction, because I like to have a lot of tension in my throttle stick. And the plastic on metal is fine, but when you start adding a lot of pressure, it gets a little rough. And that is what I'm trying to avoid, or not avoid, but improve. Given it's not the first time I've done this. However, silicone is neat, but you have to keep it really lubed because otherwise it gets sticky. This is interesting. It has that texture, so I might not like it, but there's a chance also that it'll wear in. As I'm using it, it'll wear in, basically make it smooth with just all the rubbing. So maybe it'll be a little rough at first, and eventually it'll get smoother. I will keep the lube on it. There's no reason to take it off. Alright, so let's see how this works. Go ahead and put this back together. Let me make sure it's not like touching the ratchet. So we don't want that either. Oh, there's plenty of room. Okay. Alright, let's see how that feels so far. Ooh, actually, I think that might work. Huh? Look at that. So like I said, I like a lot of tension, but I need it to be smooth. Let me give it a little bit more. Oh wow, it's not bad. I think, and that it hasn't even broken in. So I think once it breaks in, I can't feel the Kevlar. I can't really feel. Ooh, I think I like this. Alright, there we go. So this is how it looks. It's actually a lot neater than my first method of using silicone. Silicone is too thick. It's just, that's what I had when I first did this experiment, and it worked out, and I liked this, so I left it like that. But this is good. I'm actually going to order some PTFE silicone, not silicone, PTFE Teflon shrink tubing, which so far I only found it on eBay, importing it from Hong Kong or China, so I gotta wait a couple of weeks. Just in case this doesn't work out in the end, I'm gonna order some of that. And if I don't like this over time, then I'll try and use that. But so far, I think there's a lot of potential in this. Unless it wears through the Teflon and starts hitting the Kevlar and it gets rough. But I don't know, I think this is gonna work. Check it out. So there you have it. And this method, I'm doing it on a Tango too, but it should work just fine on a Taranis or any other radio that uses this kind of bar for tension. It's actually very easy to do. Almost all of you guys that have this radio will open it or have opened it at some point, either to replace springs or to change the spring tension. It is actually designed for you to open it really easily. And because of that, this mod is really not a problem. I'll put a link in the description for how to get the tape. I got it off Amazon, so there's a link there for it, the specific one that I bought. And I think it was like $9, and if you have Prime, it's free shipping, so that's really good. I mean, you have a lot left over, but you could use it for other things. And yeah, awesome. I'll leave you with that. Thank you guys. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Channel's really doing very well, thanks to you guys. Thumbs up to this video, share it, because this is going to be useful to a lot of people. So I'm not going to go spam the TBS groups, but if you guys do it for me, that'll be great. So share the video. I'll see you in the next one, guys.